So you've got a beautiful backyard that would be perfect for a garden, but the prospect of planning it all out seems totally overwhelming. Well, we've found the perfect solution that will simplify your life and make gardening a breeze, no matter how many crops you're growing. Stay tuned to learn why our market garden manager loves this tool and to see how you can plan the garden of your dreams.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bacher. I'm the Market Garden Manager here at Heifer USA, and today let's talk a little bit about an app that has been life-changing for me recently, and that is the Seedtime app. But first, if you like learning about tools and technologies for gardening or for farming, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, let's get started. Today I'm going to tell you about just my favorite parts of this app, and there are so many options, but specifically we're going to talk about the calendar, the to-do list, the winter gardening algorithm, and we're going to talk about all that teachable content, and it's all fantastic, so let's get into it. Seedtime was created by Edwin and Paul Deisinger, a father-son duo who have years of experience in agriculture, gardening, and backyard farming, and they wanted to create an app that was just for people that were growing at that smaller scale. So when you start using Seedtime, you will be blown away by just how flexible this app is and how easy it is to tailor it to your own operation, your growing zone, and your goals for what you want to do with your garden. I used to use Excel sheets upon Excel sheets. It took me hours and hours. And so I've always been looking for that app that'll really take some of that time off from the beginning of the year when you've got all of those other winter projects that you could be doing. And this is the one that's really done it for me. It did save me just weeks of time at the start of the year to be able to plan out everything. What would normally take me hours and hours of poring over seed packets, documents on websites that have different seeds that I'm purchasing, things like that, where I can go through and collaborate all of the data into one place. The way that I started using this app was I just started inputting a lot of the varieties that I knew I was going to be growing that year, and was pleasantly surprised that it just automatically brought up all the information for me. You just type in the variety that you're needing to use for that year, and it already has the days to maturity, it has the time of year it grows, it will build into the calendar for you exactly when you need to put it in, when you need to weed that bed, when you need to pull it and get ready for the next crop, and that's incredibly helpful. It was almost exactly what I wanted to do anyway, so that was really nice. So specifically in the calendar view, there's an option to change it to a timeline view, which is how I always like to use the calendar, and it basically just shows week by week exactly what is needing to be done when. And the best part about it is you can actually print that out if you want to have a physical copy of it so you always see it and have a reminder of it on your wall, or if you want to bring it down to the garden with you while you're doing your chores. So if you're like me, a farmer who is pulled in a million different directions at any given time, or even just a gardener who's got life on their mind, you can constantly be forgetting little things or things that slip through the cracks really easily. So initially I started looking into Seedtime as an option for me to help plan out the year, but then I discovered that it actually has a lot more to it than just a seasonal planning option. It actually can create these to-do lists so that it actually lays out every task that you have to do that week, everything you have to harvest, weed, any beds that need prepped or flipped, anything like that is all included in that to-do list. And the cool thing about Seedtime is that it catches those things for you and automatically moves over tasks that were not finished the week before to your current to-do list, so you don't have to do it, but it's still there and you don't forget it. For example, this springtime is a crazy time in the garden. It's a crazy time as a farmer. You have a million different balls in the air. And I forgot to start my succession of cucumbers, my second succession. I forgot to start them entirely. So I missed that whole week. And then when I went through the next week to restart my to-do list and print out what we were doing, it showed up right at the top in the overdue section, and it was able to save that succession. So I was able to get it in time. And you can just print that to-do list, take it down to the garden, and just start checking them off, which is incredibly helpful, especially if you have teams that are working with you and it's not just yourself. Even a year after starting to use Seedtime, I'm still finding new things that I love about it. And one of those new things is the winter gardening algorithm, which is still kind of in its infancy stage, but it's actually really helpful and I'm finding it to be pretty accurate. When you get into growing beyond just the summer season, you start looking at declining temperatures, you start looking at declining sun, and a lot of times that actually affects your dates to maturity. It affects how long something is going to be in the field. And it's kind of hard to anticipate if you don't fully really know what's common in your zone or how to predict it for yourself if you haven't grown in that area before. But what this algorithm does is it sort of mimics that natural decline in sun and light and turns it into a way to stretch those times at the end of your season. But the cool thing too is that you can actually change it too. You can make it a little bit more manual, so it's not just what the algorithm thinks you should be growing and when, because we have tunnels, we have some other season extension items that make it to where you can get outside of that growing period. But you can do that in this app. You can specify whether they're 1 covers, 2 covers, whether you've got some row covers over it, you've got plastic covering, anything like that. It allows for you to include that in there as well, which is incredibly helpful. So when I first started gardening, I was living up in Wisconsin, and down in central Arkansas, the climate here is a little different. I think the zone where I was living was 3A before. This is 7B. So there's a huge amount of difference. And if I had had something like that to help me project those times in the fall and in the spring, it would have saved me a lot of time and headache. It does work really well, and it's very helpful if you're just starting out to grow in some of those bumper seasons like spring and fall. If you have any questions about the winter gardening algorithm, they have a really good tutorial on the website, as well as an entirely community-based Facebook group where there are questions, concerns, people share their experiences, and Paul and Edwin have remained to be very involved with it. And they're constantly updating the app, taking feedback from customers and from people that have ideas of how to better it. And they're just always around in the community as well, just to answer questions or just for a little bit of encouragement. In addition to just the Facebook group, they also have lots of tutorials on their page. There's a link to it right on the website, and you just click on that and you can go to all of their master classes where they cover all kinds of stuff from seeding to cultivating to planting to actually planning out your year. So you have to check that out as well. I know you want to get all your gardening advice from me on this page here, but definitely check it out. I approve.
If you can't wait to get started with Seedtime, click the affiliate link in the description of this video. Then check out this deep dive to watch how Sarah organizes our 3.5 acre market garden using Seedtime.